Hey, Ryan Hayden here. This is update number 15. And I wanted to kind of show you in a minute some new design things that we're doing on our planner, as well as discuss some of the things that are going on the sermon tool. But one of the things I wanted to do today is kind of give you an overview of how we make software. Because I keep going back to this day in and day out, and it might be a little bit confusing what's going on. And it's really a simple process. The first thing that we do is we prototype the software on paper. And so I have a notebook and some special pens, and I draw out very rough estimations of what an app is supposed to look like and what it's supposed to do. And then I prototype that same thing with data, usually in something like Airtable, where I can kind of figure out what kind of fields would be needed in a database and whatnot. So that's the first thing, prototype. The second thing that we do is we create a design. I have a designer that I work with. I used to do design for a long time, but I just realized that I'm not that great at it. And I've got a designer named Carlos that he takes my prototypes and he turns them into amazing designs. And we go back and forth and we iterate and iterate and iterate. And we use a program called Figma for that. Figma is a really cool program that allows us to collaboratively design in the same space. It works online. And so we use that for all of our design work. So first step, prototype. Second step, design. We have basically a pixel perfect design. And then the third step is markup. Now this is probably not the way that most people do this, but this is the way that we like to do this. We have our own HTML framework that we've sort of created and hobbled some things together that works just how we like to do things. And we try to write really clean markup of our designs. And so we make basically a website of all of our designs that doesn't really work. It's just all of the markup is there, the HTML, the CSS, a little bit of the JavaScript, but it's not tied to any data or anything like that. And so that's the third step. And then the last step is development. And in the development step, we turn the markup over to a developer that is not necessarily very good with making things look good, but his job is to take stuff and make it work. And so prototype, design, markup, and development, those four stages. All right. And right now, we've gotten through almost all of the design work and most of the markup work. So all of the design, prototype, and markup work is done for our prayer tool. Everything is designed. Everything is marked up. Almost all of development is done. Okay. Same thing with our sermons tool. All of the design work is done. All of the markup is done. All of the prototyping is done, and it is in development. Okay. The planner tool, we are still doing design and we're still doing markup. So I have stuff to show you on that every day. We haven't even started developing the planner tool yet. So every time that we do these things, they're in these four steps. Now, I tell you all that to tell you this. I've been giving updates and been able to give you a lot of updates every day because we've been in this, we've been in the markup stage or the design stage on a lot of these tools. And as we've moved out of that stage into development, there's not a whole lot to show you. So I can't, I can kind of explain things that are going on, but there's not a whole lot to show you because a lot of that is all the show you stuff has already happened, and now it's just a matter of making it work. So I wanted to show you the mobile design of our planner tool. We've been working on the design for this. We've come up with this as a way to create these orders of service, and we like this. But the problem with this is you wouldn't be able to, this would be completely useless on a phone. Okay, you wouldn't be able to interact with this on a phone at all. So we had to come up with a way to take this design and make it work for the desktop, but also make it work for smaller screens. And the design that we've come up with is actually this one down here. So the way that this works is when you create a service, you'll have this box here, and you'll hit this little button to choose all of the different, we just haven't come up with icons for these other things yet, but choose the different elements. And then once you have those elements, you can start writing, and then you hit the plus button. Now, when you hit the plus button, it's going to bring you into this service tab. So it's going to 2 tabs here, elements and service. And when you hit the service tab, it's going to show this. And then you can rearrange and you can hit print and save. So basically what we've done is we've consolidated all of that, but we had to come up with a clever way of consolidating the 2 panes and only show one at a time, and consolidating the third pane too. So basically, this is what our mobile design for this is going to look like. Another thing is our sermons tool. We've been working a lot on the sermons tool. Some people, because this is already live and on Simple Church Tools, if you already have your Simple Church Tools account, some people have started trying to add sermons and ask me questions about it. You feel free to look around and kick the tires, but I wouldn't start adding sermons yet. For instance, we started, it was just about done, and as we're working on the front end of that that sermons tool, we realized that the way that we had Bible text set up was inadequate. And so we're going to have to completely remove that field and remove all that information from the database and put it in again. So like I said, just understand that this is very much, the sermon stuff is very much beta at this point, and probably will change before we finish this Kickstarter and release all this stuff to the public. So yeah, anyways, looking forward to all the work. I hope to have some more stuff to show you on the sermon front end tomorrow. But this is what we got going on. Thank you for following along, and we'll chat tomorrow.